Well, we're getting back to reading and learning from this book titled The Good Life. And we're working on chapter 2, Why Relationships Matter. We're on, actually, we need to start on page 35 with a question at the end of the page. It says, an experiment conducted by researchers at the University of Chicago eliminates one central piece of the puzzle. And it continues, strangers on a train. Imagine you're on a train. Strangers are seated all around you. You'd like to have the most pleasant possible train ride, and you have a choice. Talk to a stranger or keep to yourself. Which do you choose? Well, we know that most of us do, or we know what most of us do. We keep to ourselves. Who wants to deal with a random stranger? They'll probably talk our ear off. Also, we want to get some work done or just enjoy some music or a podcast. So that's what they're saying most of us would like to do, is just keep to ourselves and concentrate on what we want. We don't want to be, quote, bothered, because we want to do our own thing. Now, this kind of predication about what will make us happy is known in psychology as effective forecasting. We are constantly making predictions about all kinds of things in our lives, large and small, which will make us feel better. So apparently they're saying, in our minds, we're thinking, okay, this will make us feel good, or this will make us feel bad.
Mm-hmm.
Our mind just sort of automatically starts thinking about this.
It's automatic.
Yes.
Okay.
So researchers at the University of Chicago turned their local train into an effective forecasting experiment. They asked commuters to predict which of two scenarios, talking to a stranger or minding your own business, would make for a more positive experience. Then they instructed one group to intentionally connect with a nearby stranger and the other group to remain disconnected. When the ride was over, they asked the commuters how they felt about the train ride. So they had two groups.
Okay.
One, they had them connect with other
Mm-hmm.
commuters on that train.
Mm-hmm.
The others, they had to just sort of keep to themselves, not talk to other people or make any connections to other people.
Mm-hmm.
And then they asked those commuters how they felt about the train ride.
Mm-hmm.
Well, before the ride, people overwhelmingly predicted that talking to someone they didn't know would be a bad experience.
Uh-huh.
That's what their mind was predicting.
Okay.
And that keeping to themselves would be much better. They were forecasting what would make them happy
Mm-hmm.
and what would make them miserable.
Okay.
The actual experience, however, was the opposite of what they expected.
Opposite. Is opposite what they expected.
Yeah, so they thought, okay, if they kept to themselves, it would make them happy.
Mm-hmm.
And if they connected to other people, they
Mm-hmm.
would be miserable. That's what they were predicting. But the actual experience was opposite.
Oh.
When commuters were told to strike up a conversation, most had a positive experience and rated their commute as better than usual. For those who typically worked on the train, reported that the trip was no less productive when they talked to a stranger. So, what they discovered, even people that normally would keep to themselves
Mm-hmm.
that and work on their own,
Uh-huh.
was that even though they or talked with other people,
Mm-hmm.
they were still able to do whatever they needed to do, but they were much happier.
Oh, okay. There is a lot of research like this suggesting that human beings are bad at effective forecasting.
Forecasting,
Forecasting.
not just in short term situations like the train study, but in long term too. We seem particularly bad at forecasting the benefits of relationships. A big part of this is the obvious fact that relationships can be messy and unpredictable. This messiness is some of what prompts many of us to prefer being alone.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just that we are seeking solitude or being, alone.
Mm-hmm.
It's that we want to avoid the potential mess of connecting with others. But we overestimate the mess and underestimate the benefits of human connection. This is a feature of our decision making in general. We pay a lot of attention to potential cost and downplay of dismiss potential benefits. This is the situation in which many of us find ourselves. We avoid things that we think will make us feel bad and pursue things that we think will make us feel good. Our instincts don't always lead us astray, but there are important areas in which they do. Like John Marsden, many of us end up making some pretty big decisions, like which career to pursue, or the same small decisions, like never talking to strangers, over and over, based on faulty thinking that seems perfectly logical. Rarely do we get the opportunity to see the error. This would all be difficult enough if we lived in a vacuum where no outside forces were affecting our decisions. The problem is compounded when we subject our decision making to the cultural influences we face, which themselves contain some ideas that can get us off track. We are not the only ones forecasting what will make us happy. The culture we live in is also forecasting for us.
Okay. This is overall of strangers on a train, what they explain.
Well, what they looked at is this little section here was they did an experiment. They took two groups,
To go.
and one group they decided to have them do what they normally do.
Okay.
Get on the train,
Okay.
keep to themselves,
Mm-hmm.
and do what they normally do.
Okay.
And for a lot of them, it was either just keeping quiet or doing work on the train.
Uh-huh.
The other group, they wanted them to connect with other people.
Okay.
Now, you know what I mean by connect, right?
It's like have a more relationship.
Well, introduce themselves and start talking to other people.
Uh-huh.
And that's the connection, is
Mm.
the introduction,
Mm-hmm.
the talking, the communication,
Okay.
and they looked at the results of both groups,
Uh-huh.
how they felt after the train ride.
Okay.
The group that kept to themselves still felt satisfied, but they, they were not what they expected, in that they weren't as satisfied.
They want more happier.
Well,
And
they were not as happy.
yeah, they just satisfied but not
Yeah,
happy.
that's right.
But if compare to the second group that have more interaction or
Yes.
the
And
relationship
yeah,
communicate to people, that is result is
those people were much happier with the train ride
okay, that
and
makes
the
sense.
time they spent on the train.
That makes sense. Okay, this is just like a title of the strangers on the train. The title of the
It was an experiment conducted,
experiments conducted by researchers at the University of Chicago.
and it showed one of the pieces of the puzzle, one of the central pieces of the puzzles of how people feel when they communicate with
Okay.
others.
The puzzle, like this puzzle words, it mean life, part of
Well,
life of people.
a puzzle is a piece of something. You have a picture puzzle that's made up of many pieces, and the puzzle is not complete until you put it together. So these researchers were trying to put information together to complete the picture.
Okay. So we will go on this the under the spell of culture.
Well, they say that sometimes people say we avoid things we think will make us feel bad
Uh-huh.
and pursue things that we think will make us feel good. So if we are on a train and we don't communicate with
Yeah.
others,
Uh-huh.
it's because we think that makes us feel good.
Okay. Oh,
Or
okay.
actually, we think that communicating with other people will make us feel bad.
Oh, it opposite their thought.
That's right.
Okay, okay, okay. Uh-huh.
And now we have instincts.
Instinct. Yes, I understand.
Instincts that make
Instinct.
us think, oh, this person is good, or this person is bad, or
Uh-huh.
this situation is good,
Uh-huh.
or this situation is bad.
Okay.
Our instincts don't always lead us astray.
Astray is mean the right way, right? Astray.
They don't always lead us astray. In other words, our instincts tell us sometimes, hey, this situation's bad. We need to get out of here.
Okay.
And we listen to them and we leave. And that's good. But sometimes our instincts that say, okay, this is bad, we need to not do it. That's not always correct.
Ah, okay. That makes sense. Yes, yes, yes. But there are important areas in which they do, like John.
Marsden. Now, John Marsden, remember, he was a person that came from a wealthy family.
Uh-huh.
He had the chance of taking over the family business
Yes. He
and
succeeded a lot and finally he is
and
the
decided no, he didn't want to take over the family business. He wanted to become a lawyer.
okay, that like an instinct told him before, like, oh, I don't want to take over the family business. I want to do my way.
That's right.
Okay.
And he did. But John Marsden, he was self-centered.
Self-centered. Oh, self-centered. Okay.
And he made some decisions, and some big decisions and some small decisions based on faulty thinking. So he thought if he became a lawyer, he would be able to help
People.
people.
Uh-huh.
But when he became a lawyer,
Many
he
things change.
he changed. He kept thinking, okay, this is best for me, for my profession as a lawyer.
Ah,
So he became self-centered.
okay.
And while he was successful professionally, in his other life, his family life, his personal life, he was not successful. He had troubles because he was always thinking about number one, himself.
Himself. So this is support the study like it's opposite of what they expected. Okay, go
That's
ahead.
right. So, but it also says on this last sentence, we are not the only ones forecasting what will make us happy. The culture we live in is also forecasting for us.
Oh, the culture we live in is also forecasting us. I
For
know
us.
for us. I never heard this sentence before. Oh, the culture and or environment is also forecasting for us.
That's right. Now, you were talking to some people yesterday, and you were talking how the culture in Thailand has changed, and
Yes,
is still, and they talked about how it's still changing.
yes.
So, is that culture over there starting to forecast for the people in Thailand? Just
Oh,
like is our culture here in America forecasting for us?
oh, okay. So it's like
So, this sentence, we are not the only ones forecasting what will make us happy. The culture we live in is also forecasting for us. Our culture tells us, okay, you will be happy doing this. Our culture also says, you will be unhappy not doing this. Or if you do this, you will be unhappy.
but it's the thing that happened maybe not like you thought. Okay, under the spell of culture.
That's right. That's where we're getting into. Under the spell of culture. In his commencement address to Kenyon College in 2005, the writer, David Foster Wallace, used a parable to point out a indelible truth. There are these two young fish swimming along, and they happen to meet an older fish swimming the other way, who nods at them and says, "Morning, boys, how's the water?" And the two young fish swim on a bit, and then eventually one of them looks over at the other one and goes, "What the hell is water?"
Hold on. There are these two young fish
Swimming
along.
along,
Okay. And they happen to meet an older fish swimming the other way. Okay. Who nods at them and says, "Morning, boys. How's the water?" And the two young fish swim on for a bit, and then eventually one of them looks over at the other and goes, "What the hell is water?" Mm,
do you understand that?
yes, yes, they think like a
That's right. Well,
think of,
they did not know, they did not understand what is water. They were in the water
but they don't know what the water look
because
like.
no, they did not know what water is because they were so immersed in the water. They'd
Ah,
been in the water all their life and they never thought about it.
like
So
we can say look over.
they
No,
overlooked it.
or overlooked it. Okay, okay, okay.
Just like a culture. We grow up in a culture. We see, we just live and adapt to that culture at that moment. And we don't think about it. We're, we're in a culture. For instance, you grew up in a Thai culture. And there's different things in a Thai culture than there is in an American culture. But you don't think about that Thai culture when you're there because you're growing up in it.
Yes, that exactly. I was shocked when I moved to America the first time. It's really different from Thailand, and I have no clue how to, interact with people, to communicate to people, because sometimes I use the Thai culture here they not accept it, and I just shocked. What happened? Okay.
That's right. So every culture, from the broad culture of a nation down to the culture inside of a family, is at least partially invisible to its participants. We don't see it. We're living it, but we don't see it.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah. Okay, page number 38 of The Good Life in chapter 2.
Now, there are important assumptions, value judgments, and practices that create water we swim in without our noticing or agreeing to them. We simply find ourselves in this world and we move forward. Again, the culture is invisible to us. We just accept it and we keep moving forward. Now, these features of culture affects just about everything in our lives, often in positive ways, connecting us to each other and creating identities and meaning. But there is also a flip side. Sometimes cultural messages and practices point us in directions away from well-being and happiness. This is a thing that occurs in a country. You can get a country that says, oh, um, ah, here's a good example. A political slogan in America is "Make America Great Again." And this is something that a certain segment of the population believe in. That if you live a certain way, it will make the nation great again. So they want to change the nation to reflect their beliefs.
Uh-huh.
Whether this actually makes us make the nation great again, you don't know. We won't know.
So let's stop for a second.
As Wallace was encouraging the graduating students to do, and notice some of the cultural water. Now, in the 1940s and 50s, when John, Leo, and other original participants of the Harvard study were growing into adults, American culture brimmed with assumptions, as it does today, and it will tomorrow, about what a good life looks like. These assumptions percolate down into their lives and, more importantly, into their life choices. John, for example, was convinced that pursuing law and becoming a lawyer, a respected profession, would lay the groundwork for his future happiness. The culture he grew up in created the conditions for his belief to seem like a truism. A truism means what somebody thinks is the truth. This is complicated terrain because the things that our respective cultures
Excuse me.
encourage us to pursue, money, achievement, status, and other things, are rarely complete mirages. Money allows us to acquire important things that we need for well-being. Achievements are often satisfying, and aiming for them can provide goals that give purpose to our lives and allow us to move forward into new, exciting realms. And status gives us a certain social respect that can allow us to effectively positive change. But money, achievement, and status all have a tendency to overtake other priorities. This too is a function of our ancient brains. We focus on what is most visible and most immediate. The value of relations is
Ephemeral.
ephemeral.
Ephemeral. I don't know.
Hard.
This is like all the over. Yeah.
It's
It's
it's a level of language that,
it's a higher level language.
well, it's a higher level.
Specific, special.
It's not used often.
Okay. And hard to
E-
quantify, but
firm,
money can be
counted.
counted. Achievements can be listed on a
Resume.
resume, and social media followers.
Tick up in the right hand corner of your screen. These countable victories gives us small pulses of feeling that we like, pleasing sensations, remnants of those ancient signals. As we go through life, we can see all accumulating, and we pursue these goals without thinking about why we're pursuing them. Soon enough, we find ourselves beyond the realm where these cultural approved pursuits affect their lives and other people in positive ways, and into realms where they become ends in themselves. Here, the pursuits become abstract, more symbolic than tangible, and the chase for a better life starts to look more like running in circles.
Okay, so this overall,
Well, uh, they're saying that this is a sort of a complicated thing. Uh, the culture starts us out thinking, okay, we need to go in this direction. You
mm-hmm,
know, and it lists, let's see, important things like well-being, achievements, um, goals. Okay, here we go. Pursue money, achievement, status, and other things. That's what our cultures teach us to think about.
mm-hmm,
We need to pursue money, achievement, status, and
mm-hmm.
other things.
So they change direction, they change the goal.
Well, these things are rarely complete mirages.
Uh-huh.
A mirage is a thing you see, but it's not real.
Mm-hmm. Not real. Okay.
Now, money allows us to acquire important
Mm-hmm.
things. Achievements are self satisfying,
Mm-hmm.
and achieving them or aiming for them can provide goals that give purpose to our lives. You know, you and I talk about we have goals
Uh-huh.
and that we need to work towards those goals.
Uh-huh. Our goal, what is our goal? Is be the older elderly who has a
Older,
quality
happy life.
quality
Elders, yeah.
life, yeah, quality life, happy life, and healthy life. Okay.
And also, here is status. Status gives us a more social, a, well, gives us a certain social respect that can allow us affect positive change. So that's saying that our status, if we achieve a high status, we can affect other people in a positive way.
Mm-hmm.
That's what status does for people.
Uh-huh.
So now, money, achievement, and status all have a tendency to overtake other priorities. In other words, they become our number one, number two, number three priority.
Mm-mm-mm.
And they overtake other priorities like family, friends.
Okay. That is like, culture effective.
Yeah, it's our ancient human brain saying we focus on what is mostly visible and most immediate.
Mm.
Friendship, on the other hand, is harder to define.
Okay.
We don't define friendship as important, and it's hard to quantify, I should say, quantify.
What the meaning of quantify?
Okay.
But money can be counted. It mean like, money can be counted. It mean people look at the money very important, right?
Well, it says the value of relationships is ephemeral, ephemeral. In other words, it's hard to see,
Okay.
and it's also hard to quantify.
Uh-huh.
Now, quantify is like saying, where is the importance in something?
Okay, I got it. I got it.
But see, money can be counted.
Okay.
Achievements can be listed.
Okay, that example,
And social media,
can be too.
yes.
Okay.
So, money, achievements, status, those are like victories that
Uh-huh.
gives us small feelings of pleasure.
Mm, 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 mm.
And as we go through life, we can see it building up. Yeah, we can build up money. We can build up uh, achievements. We can build up status.
Okay.
And so we try for these goals without always thinking why we are pursuing them.
Ah.
And so we tend to go not just to those levels of money, achievement, status, but we go beyond them.
Mm, mm, mm,
And, culturally, you know, culture approves of money,
mm,
it approves of achievement,
mm-hmm,
it approves of status.
mm-hmm.
But where does it approve of friendships?
Ah, okay. That is if look back at the John life.
Uh huh.
He first thing he want to do is helping people, and finally the like
The only person he was helping was himself.
yes, finally, because that the effect from the what would you say, the from the money, from the
Achievements
achievement
and
of
social.
social. Okay, okay, got it, got it. Mm-hmm.
So here, when it gets to the point where they become self centered, uh, they're not so positive.
Yes,
So pursuits become abstracted, more symbolic, and
symbolic,
symbolic.
symbolic.
It's, oh, look at me, I'm important.
Mm 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 mm.
But are they really important
Mm.
to other people?
Ah, they just think themselves.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
And they're saying that the chase for a better life starts to look more like running in circles.
Oh, okay, got it.
Now, there is a lot to say about all these objects of desire and their psychological underpinnings. But for the sake of illustrations, let's take a closer look at one symbolic keystone, a persistent cultural assumption shared among many cultures all over the world that is not only old but ancient and shows no sign of going anywhere. The foundation of a good life is money.
Ah, foundation of good life is money. This is John, right? Or
Well, that's one of them.
one
But
of them.
see, this is a persistent cultural assumption.
Okay, okay.
It doesn't matter where you're from in the world,
Mm-mm-mm.
whether it's Thailand, China, England, France, America.
Australia or
Yeah,
whatever.
every culture has that thought
Mm-hmm.
that the foundation of a good life is money.
That's true.
Well, that's what all the world culture thinks.
All the world culture think. Okay. Of course, very few people would
Would
say it like this with a
straight
stretch.
face. But signs of the strength of this belief are evident all around us. We see it in equation of well-paying jobs, with good jobs, in the fascination with the ultra wealthy, in the increasing pragmatic educational system. In other words, you go to school to get a better job. That's one of the thoughts. You go to school to get a better job.
Uh-huh.
And I'm guilty to say that also. I tell people, you need to go to school
And
and you
get
get
a
a
better
better
job.
job. Yeah.
Okay.
It's also in the glamorous promises of consumer products and in many other avenues of life. You know, consumer products, look at cell phones. You
Okay.
know, people want the best cell phones.
Uh-huh. Yeah, they change every time when they have a new, what we call
A
new
new model.
model. Mm-hmm.
And this is expensive.
Yes.
So you need a good job, or you spend money that you can spend other ways.
Mm-mm-mm-mm.
And in many avenues of life, it is a story so much a part of cultural water that it survives despite the fact that philosophers, writers, and artists have been warning against the seduction of wealth for thousands of years. So there have been very smart people
Mm-hmm.
been telling people, hey, be careful. Wealth is seductive. It leads you to bad things
Mm-hmm.
and bad acts. And people have, they've been telling people this for thousands of years. People ignore them.
What they
They're
try to
all
hold on. What they try to tell people. Uh, Try to tell people warning against the
the seductions of wealth for
what
thousands
the
of
meaning
years.
of the seduction of wealth.
Seductions of wealth. Ah, good question. The seduction is greed.
Oh, okay. Let me say something. This is some people just say don't hate the money. Don't feel, against the money because you never be a rich people. If you against the money and you hate money, this is like, something similar.
That's the culture that we live in.
Oh,
The culture we live in, whether it's Thai or an American,
mm-hmm.
says that we need money.
Mm, mm,
You
mm, mm.
have to make money.
Mm, 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 mm.
Money is happiness.
Ah, okay. Aristotle?
Aristotle, the Greek philosopher, for example, outlined the problem 2,000 years ago. The life of money making is one undertaken under compulsion. He wrote, and wealth is evident, not the good we are seeking, for it is merely useful and for the sake of something else. Now, he's saying that life, money making, making money,
Uh-huh.
is undertaken under compulsion. What's compulsion? It's like an addiction.
Addiction. Oh, really?
Yes.
Under compulsion is addicted. Okay. He wrote, and wealth is
Evidently,
evidently.
not the good we are seeking. That money is actually not the good life we are looking for.
So, in my idea, I think,
It's merely useful and for the sake of something else. That means money only buys a certain amount of happiness.
okay.
It does not buy you complete happiness. It
Yes.
buys you material things, but not necessarily mental happiness.
Okay, but if you don't have money, you will have more problem with the mentally problem. But you choose to have some and like a good foundation, and then seeking for something else it make yourself happier. But you need to have some money. If you don't have any money, how you can get happier? You cannot eat the grass, and you cannot eat the leaf every day. You need to have money to buy chicken, buy some meat, some good vegetable, to
But we are not satisfied. Culturally, we are not satisfied with that. Culturally, we're taught that we need to make more and
more
more
and
money.
more. It means
And
never enough for the greeting,
we become greedy.
greedy.
Money is never enough.
Money never enough. Oh, I understand.
That's
Okay.
what we're taught culturally.
Okay. So you never feel rich, even though you have 1 million, 10 million, 10,000 million.
You're never rich enough.
You never feel rich enough. I got it. Okay. So we might list 100 similar
Sentiments articulated in every era of history. Money has never made man happy, nor will it. That was Ben Franklin that said that. Or don't make money your goal. Instead, pursue the things you love doing, and then do them so well that people can't take their eyes off of you. And that was Maya Angelou.
Yeah, Maya Angelou say.
All these sentiments trickle down and coalesce into that refrain. Money can't buy happiness.
Money cannot buy happiness. Just short-term happiness, I think. Sometimes, money can buy, but it's not long-term happiness. Okay.
Now, the idea is so common that it has itself been folded into capitalist cultures all over the world. People tell each other all the time that money isn't the answer, yet
Page number 40 of chapter 2 of the Good Life book.
now the capitalists, and I have to go back for a sec, the capitalists tell people, each other all the time that money isn't the answer, yet money remains a central object of desire in cultures almost everywhere.
Money remains a
Central.
central object of desire in cultures almost everywhere. I agree. I agree. But how we control desire? Okay. The main reason for this
Is
is not.
not much of a mystery. The idea that money buys happiness maintains its allure because every day we see the way it affects how people live.
Every day we see the ways it affects how people live. Okay.
So, the idea that money buys happiness maintains its allure. That means it's like a thing that makes you want it more and more. Allure.
More and more. It's
Wanting
mean
more and
never
more.
enough. Okay.
Yeah. In America, inequity has been increasing for decades, and is connected to all kinds of other inequities, from discrepancies in access to health care to the fact that rich people have shorter commutes to work. The overall effect of money is so significant that people with high incomes can expect to live 10 to 15 years longer than people with low incomes.
Hold on. The overall effect of
Uh,
money is so significant that people with high incomes can expect to live 10 to 15 years longer than people with low income. Okay, I start to confusing. Go ahead. Go ahead, read it, and we will.
the men in the Harvard study are no different. On the average, the college men had significantly higher income than the Boston inner city men and lived 9.1 years longer. So, what they're saying here is money has become so significant in America that rich people live longer than the poorer simply because they have better health care.
Yeah, that's why I said money is important in some way, but not cannot buy happiness. So we need to study more the research, how the research see get it, got it. What happened with the happiness and relate to the money?
Well, so the idea that money may be a major shaper of happiness is, in some ways, a common sense observation,
Ah, okay, go
and
ahead.
yet it does not reflect the whole truth.
Okay, got it.
To understand the extent to which money affects happiness and well being, we have to look a bit deeper and ask, as Aristotle was suggesting, what is the money for?
What is the money for? So I start to look look the whole thing right now. It doesn't mean this book will tell you like money no good. Money is good in some way, but not for everything to make your life happy. So, what is the money for? This is a little tied to question, right? And we will study more.
Yes.
Okay. So I think this you want to read more,
No,
study
that's
more.
good enough
That's
for
good
today.
enough for today. Okay. So this book, a good life book, is very powerful book. I love it, and I would like to study the whole book, and let's see how people get a good life and happiness in life. So we will adjust our life and try to maintain the quality of life. That's why the reason I want to study this book
I,
very deeper.
I think what we need to look at for the good life, quality life, is a balance of uh, things that they talked about as far
Mm-hmm.
as money, status,
Mm-hmm.
social well-being.
Mm-hmm.
You need to balance it.
Yeah, and especially they did not like a short-term research. This is take over 80 years to
Yes,
study the life of people that are
yes.
interesting because it's long enough to look at the whole thing of life. And now it's the three generation already, right, that they're still continuing.
They are working on the third generation. Yes.
Yes. So it's the reason I want to study this book because I want to be the happiness and good life, the final of our life together.
Well, and you also wish that other people can experience a happy life also. You know, we when we have a unhappy life, we sort of spread that with our neighbors, with our community, with our area, with our nation, and our nation affects the world. I mean, it's just one thing after another.
Okay. Thank you, Dali Devil Kids, to subscribe to our channel. Thank you, Material Girl. That interesting. We will study this book daily, and you can study and learn with us. You know, this is a very good one to learn and study to make your life happier and better life.
Knowledge is strength. You can use knowledge to change how you think. Change can occur with people, but sometimes it takes time.
So tomorrow we will study again in this time, well, about maybe 10 o'clock. Huh?
Yes,
It's
yes.
about 1 hour study, and we will go together. So thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much for your support. We'll see you again tomorrow. Have a good day
Day together.
together, and have a good night overseas. And bye bye for
From us
today.
to you.
Today. Bye bye.